guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you some fall harvest DIYs. These are so fun because they are something a little different than what I've been sharing. I am going to be working on apples instead of pumpkins and leaves and all the orange stuff. I think apples are just as important in fall as pumpkins, so I had to create one video for that. So I am using pumpkins to create apples as well as some scrap fabric that I had on hand. I cut this on the red burlap is already pretty much the size that I wanted, but this plaid fabric I will cut to size. And then I take my pumpkin and I just make a touch of a bigger hole on top of it just so I can shove the fabric inside when I'm wrapping it. And for this fabric, that's pretty much what I'm doing, is wrapping it around the pumpkin. I would also like to mention that this video is part of a harvest market collab, and it is hosted by Leeny at Crafty Leeny and Nadia at DIY with Nadia, and it's we could create any style of harvest market fall theme DIY, so I had chosen to do apples. So make sure you check out the playlist. It will be down in my description box for all the ladies participating in this collaboration. Trust me, you want to check this out. You will not be disappointed. Once my pumpkin was wrapped up, I am just cutting. This is actually a stem from a different greenery, and I just like the little brown paper that's wrapped around it and the fact that I can actually bend it a little bit. So I'm just cutting it to size, and I'm going to shove it inside of it to resemble the stem. And once that's in place, I am using just scrap leaves that I had on hand, cutting them to size, and I'm going to hot glue it to the side of this apple. And that's it for this one. I think this one turned out super cute, and wait till you see it beside the red one that I'm creating now. Pretty much the same process. Now, because burlap is a little bit more stiffer and harder to work with than just a regular fabric, I do have to use some hot glue just to keep it in place at the folds. And I'm just trimming any extra fabric that's maybe overlapping a little too much, just because it's so much thicker than the other fabric and I don't want it to bulge up around the pumpkin. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonja, and this is my DIY channel. I happen to have a home and a cooking channel as well, and recently I started a vlogging channel too. So if you're feeling adventurous, make sure you check them out. They will be linked in the description box. But if you're not subscribed to this one and you enjoy DIYs, then I encourage you to do so. I would love to have you be part of my YouTube family by pressing the subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future uploads. And if you're stopping by from the playlist collaboration, welcome as well, and welcome if you're returning to my channel, and thank you so much for your continuing support. I pretty much repeat the same process for the stem. However, I'm using a little hammer just to push it down, and this actually gave the little dent to the fabric, and it made it look more like an apple than a pumpkin. And then I just added a leaf. I love the way these two turned out, and they would look great on a tier tray or just on your table or on a tray or anything anywhere you really want to use it. For the next one, I had these 3 mini apples. Well, I had more, but my dog did eat about 4 of them because I kept hiding them and he kept finding them. So now he's not allowed to be in the basement unless I'm there with him because he keeps eating my craft supplies. So I took off the stem as well as the little tip at the bottom, cut them off, and now I'm cutting, these are actually skewer sticks, just to size, and I'm not sure if you're already kind of getting an idea as to what I'm making. This was a really, really fun DIY to make, and I think this would look really good on a tier tray. So now that I have my sticks cut out, I am adding some paint, and I'm using red, Christmas red acrylic paint, and dipping half the apple in it. And then, so I am actually dipping the top half of the apple in it. And then I'm going to add the sticks right in it. There's no need to glue. It's a tight fit. And then I'm going to let these dry. And while they're drying, I'm going to get my other paint ready. And I'm going to mix some white, some brown, and a little bit of spun gold because I'm trying to create more of a caramel color. So now I think you are pretty sure you know what I'm making. I'm going to make some of those candied apples. So once the apples were dry, the red was somewhat dry, it wasn't completely dry, I am dipping the other half into the brown paint that I had mixed up. Some of the red did pull through, but that's okay because sometimes the apples show through the caramel as well. And once these were dry, I'm going to proceed on gluing the little, I think those are nuts, but I did not have nuts. However, I did have butterscotch that I had bought last year, and I've noticed it was a little bit, it has probably expired and it wasn't no good for eating. So I thought this would be perfect for my DIY. But you definitely want the apples to dry completely before you move on to the next step. I am using just a regular school glue to glue the butterscotch pieces to it. You can probably use tacky glue, probably Mod Podge would work as well. I would stay clear of hot glue because it would be just way too hard to do it with the hot glue. I think the hot glue would cure before you had a chance to completely dip it and get all those little bits of butterscotch on there. This was definitely messy, and but so well worth it. I would keep this up from away from young children just in case if they got some ideas to eat them. I don't really have to worry about that, but just FYI, if you are making them, keep them high enough that the little kids can't get to them because they do look really, really real. To add a little bit of an embellishment to the sticks, I am just going to tie this buffalo check ribbon to the top. You could really add anything you want to it or just leave it as is. So what do you guys think? Don't these look just adorable? I can't wait to decorate my tier trays with them. And the last project that I'm going to work on is I had this little cheese board that I picked up at thrift store, and I'm going to add a light coat of white acrylic paint. But before I do that, I'm just rubbing this sanding block just to remove any sticky stuff that might have been on there. The board is very, very glossy, and I was a little bit concerned that the paint wasn't going to stick, but it worked just fine. Now that the board had time to dry, I am going to add some writing, as well as I am just painting on some apples. You could use your Cricut machine to cut a design as well, but I thought this was easy enough that I can just paint some apples on and do my own writing. So as you saw, I did use a pencil to write out everything first, just so I don't run out of space and to get a nice curve. But before I finish this project, I just want to say thank you to Leeny and Nadia for inviting me to join this collaboration. It truly was an honor to be part of such a great group of ladies. Make sure you check out the playlist to check out all the other Harvest Market DIYs. You will not be disappointed. I think this is another great DIY sign to display on your tier tray. Make sure you erase the pencil if you're using it before you display it. And here are all three of them, and I would like to thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all in my next video. Thanks for watching.